Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the channel. So this video is super exciting for me. I have one of my recent graduates from the Peaceful Homekeeping Challenge, and I figured that it would be a great idea for me to interview her for anybody who's interested in what Peaceful Homekeeping is about or interested in the program or just wondering, what the impacts of the program are. So I have some interview style questions here that I'm going to go through with her today. And if you guys have any questions for us or for Letitia, I'll have her introduce herself in just a moment. Then definitely feel free to interact with us and engage with us in the comment section. And so before we begin, hi, my name is Lede, and I am the creator of this channel, Love Always Lede. And on this channel, I just like to talk about my journey with peaceful homekeeping. Currently, I have my enrollment window open for the spring Peaceful Homekeeping Challenge. And so I just help moms just feel more confident with their home management and task management systems in their home. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So hi, Letitia.
Hello.
Will you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Let's start there.
Yes, I am from Missouri. I am a mom of 3 kiddos. My husband and I just recently moved into this house. So we moved in just in time to have a new baby. And so I now have an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1 going on 2-year-old. And I have been trying for my whole life to figure out this home management business and sucking at it.
Well, I guess that leads us into question number 2. Can you tell me a little bit more about like some of the struggles that you've had with homekeeping, or just kind of like what things were like, or just give us like examples of some areas where you were having a hard time?
Well, I lived my life very reactive.
Mm-hmm.
The more kids I had, the more behind I felt.
Yeah.
It used to work really well to just kind of wing it
Mm-hmm.
and then do a good job when I did it. And then I had children and more children. And now having 3 of them, I don't have the there's one of them right over there and talking to me right now. It has just become harder and harder to stay on top of things, and kind of feeling like I do work and they sabotage what I do, or that while I'm doing something, they're in another room tearing that up, and so then I just have to move from mess to mess to mess and never get ahead. And I was like, man, I am working way too hard for this to not be getting me anywhere. So it was a real struggle. So I started looking for something, and here I am.
Yay. That sounds like super relatable, even for like me as well. Cause I felt like you kind of how you mentioned, like when you show up and then before you have children, it's like when I get to it, I'm going to kill it. But like once you start having kids, it just is so hurtful, to put all that energy into trying to, pull things together just for them to come right back behind you and be like, I'll pull that apart for you, mommy. So I totally understand. I can relate to that. So my next question is, what are some solutions that you tried to just feel like more on top of the homekeeping before you started the Peaceful Homekeeping Challenge?
Well, I did a program for like paper clutter at one point, and that helped some, but my problems went way beyond paper. And then a few months back, I tried the Fly Lady system and had like mild success with that. And the trouble that I had was the further into the system that I tried to go, the worse success that I had, because I didn't have any accountability and I didn't exactly know what I was doing, and trying to build those habits on my own was not working.
Yeah.
And I felt like whenever I would like watch the YouTube videos of Fly Lady Marla and some of her other ladies, they were all older, like retired ladies. And as sweet as can be, but I'm like, that is not my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I have crazy children everywhere. And so, they would talk about toys or kids' bedrooms or something like that. And it just sounded a little too relaxed and simplified. And I was like, I can't relate to that. I need somebody who can tell me, like if I'm holding a baby in one arm and I'm vacuuming with the other arm, and and then there's a dirty diaper, and like I'm trying to like do all these things. Like, I need somebody who is relating to that and understands why I can't keep my brain on one topic. And I just forget what I'm doing all the time. And so I bounce around from spot to spot, and I never really accomplish anything. My husband would come home and kind of be like, what did you do? Like, he always knew that I had been active and doing things, and I'd be exhausted. But I'd look around and I'd be like, I don't remember what I did. I don't remember. I know I was busy. I know I was being productive. I don't remember. And the kids have destroyed it already. So,
yeah,
it felt really rough. And so I'd watch those videos and be like, these ladies aren't relating to me because they're at a much different time of their life. And so I went searching for mamas, because I needed mamas who understood and could give me the guidance that I needed that would apply to having the kids attached at my hips.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's like super relatable. Like, I feel like I know what you mean. Like, at the end of the day, like, or maybe when the spouse comes home and the house is torn up and it looks like, what have I been doing today? You know that you're exhausted. You know that you've been chasing babies. You know that you've been trying your best. You know you've been seeing your work get undone. So it's just, that's super relatable. And I never really even thought about it like that. Like, I need help from somebody who is, understanding what it's like to be pulled from every direction with the babies. And then you still have the to-do list on your head that's like, shouting at you. Plus you still got to clean. So it's a lot. I totally can relate.
And I realized I didn't even say I work too.
Yeah.
I do part-time, where part of my work is at home and part of my work is out. And so, I work anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week, as well as doing everything else. And so, it's not the full-time work. And I can't imagine being a full-time mama.
Yeah.
And, oh my, but it is enough to keep me crazy.
Absolutely. Super, super busy. Oh my goodness. All right. So the next question is, I think you kind of answered this, but if you have any more you want to add to the conversation, what made you decide to sign up for the Peaceful Homekeeping Challenge?
Well, so when I was looking at those, at those videos, I came across yours and found some of those old videos of yours. I was really seeing the kids all running around, and I'm like, okay, she's having success with this. Like, this is good. I'm going to watch and see, because that was one of the things that I really liked about the Fly Lady system, was that they always said you could modify it to what worked for you. And so I was like, I just need somebody to help me figure out how to modify this. And that was something that you talked about in your videos, was that you were modifying a system to make it work more for your life. And I think, gosh, I found one where you were about 6 months in or something, and talking about the progress that you'd made, and kind of like you kind of stopped and looked around the room and were like, this room is so much better. I've got an area over here that I haven't even touched yet, but that's okay, because I've already made so much progress in the rest of the room, that this spot over here doesn't bother me, and I know I'm going to get to it, and I even know when I'm going to get to it. And that was so impactful to me, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, if I follow this system, then all of those tasks and jobs that are weighing on me, they'll have a plan and it even like a date attached to them for when I'm going to get them done. And if I really follow through with this, like I will have that kind of feeling too. And usually I run my video in my office, and I moved it for today just for you, so I'd have a little more light. But in my office, I'm surrounded by craziness. It's probably the worst room in my house. But now when I go in there, I am not overwhelmed anymore, because there may be boxes there, but I know that those are donations, and that's scheduled for Thursday. And there's bills beside me whenever I'm, using the computer. There's bills there, but those are for Tuesday. And like, I know that. And I know that I'm also getting other work done because I'm doing zone work in there. And I just finished zone work in there and emptied out 2 drawers. And I did that last week. And I know that I'm going to do that again next month as I'm going through my system. So I know that I'm going to come back, and I even have a plan for what I will attack next in that room. And that just lifts so much weight, because now, instead of having this giant list of, oh my God, I'm never going to get to this stuff, and feeling guilty about it, but also feeling guilty that I need to be doing other things, now I'm like, okay, I don't have to think about that, because that's Thursday, that's Tuesday, that's next month, and it's all spaced out. And that makes it feel so much more manageable, because that's my whole house is now planned out like that. And it's like a breath of fresh air, because I never planned anything before. So now I'm like, ooh, look at me go.
Oh my gosh, Letitia, I feel like you couldn't have said it, but I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, that's exactly, I think, for me, what it feels like. Like, I don't have this pressure that everything has to be perfect, because I also don't have that feeling of like, oh, I should do this or I should have done that, and feeling the guilt. And it's just like, I get to live in that happy middle ground, because everything has a plan, like, I'm not going to stress about it, because I know next week on Thursday in the morning, I'm going to work on it. So everything, like when your brain tries to tell you like now, you get to like kind of like compartmentalize it and just be like, no, it's not for today. And you can like safely forget about it and get it out of your brain, because you have a plan for it. So I think that's reassuring to my brain as well. So that's just so beautiful.
I've got a list on my computer, and now if I think of something that's a little more obscure, I go and I put it on that list. And then I'm like, okay, I'll schedule this sort of stuff later. I don't need to think about it now. I'm not going to forget about it. I feel good that it's written down somewhere.
Yes.
But now I can just take that and break it down as I plan my weeks, and I need to fill in spaces for what I'm doing. I can pull those tasks.
Yeah.
Super
beautiful. I have like my list like that as well. Like, sometimes I'll just go ahead and write it in the compartment, but if I'm not in a place to do that, then I'll have like my little brain dump, so everything is safe. And then I can like free my mind to stop thinking about the future and just be like in the moment. And for me, that just gives me so much relief when I can, now it's virtual school time. I can think about virtual school. Like, I don't have to think about, all the other important things I have to do, because I know that it's taken care of. So that's so beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the next question. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience being in the Peaceful Homekeeping Challenge program?
Yeah. That was so nice, because everybody in the group with me was so supportive, and they all felt the same way. We all knew coming in, like, our houses are a hot mess. We probably aren't bringing people in unless we have to. And, so there was no judgment, and everybody was really positive and supportive and encouraging. And it was so nice. And then really, the main thing that I was looking for was a real human being to talk to. who could really walk me through this. And that's what I got with you because, excuse me, I had specific problems that I came in wanting to address. I knew there were areas that I was getting stuck in, and I wasn't seeing the answers to that just watching YouTube videos. And I tried to just keep doing what I knew and practicing the skills, but I wasn't getting there. I needed somebody to talk to. And so that's why I dove in and I did it, because I wanted to have those lessons with you. And I wanted to be able to say, okay, Lede, here's my problem. And I did. You know, at some point during the program, we got to zones and I was like, all right, it's time for my question. And I brought it out and I sent it to you. And like within, you know, the next 12 hours, we were talking about it. And from that, I mean, you even made a YouTube video and you did like, you didn't just help me, you went ahead and helped other people at the same time because you knew that that was a question that more people had and you hadn't addressed it quite so much. And that's exactly what I was looking for. And so that's why I went for the program and I got exactly what I wanted. I got that support. I got the accountability. You know, at one point I didn't put my post in at night, and the next morning I have this little image of my name, you know, like, where are you, Letitia? And it you know, it wasn't upsetting or anything like that. It was like, oh my God, like, did I forget? And I had to like look back in the post and I'm like, I forgot to write it down. And so then I had to like catch up on my accountability. And I know the other girls from the group, they got those kind of messages too with their name all big. And everybody was like, oh, yes. Okay, I did forget. You're right. I did. Or I wasn't able to get to it. But, you know, nobody thought negatively of that. We were all just like, yeah, that's the accountability that we need. It's the, you know, kick in the pants, like I'm paying attention. You know, make sure that you're doing what you say you're going to do because you know, you paid for this. You want to be held accountable. That's why you're here. And that's what you did. You put my name out there and I knew that I was in trouble. I had to get with it or you were going to pull that ruler out and shake it at me.
Where is my ruler? Well, I mean, at least like the call outs were pretty. I try to like make them like floral design.
They look like you made them on Canva.
I did.
All decorated nice.
Oh, fun. Okay. Oh, goodness. I thought somebody's about to like bust through this door. Like I was about to have a mom moment. Okay. So, I have more questions. The next question is, okay. So now that you've been through the program, I guess my question is, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, but I wanted to know, how do you feel about staying on top of the home management now? And like, what do you think like has made the difference for you in terms of the strategy that you use now?
Well, I definitely feel really good now that I've gotten through the full program and I understand it all completely. You know, I'm still doing problem solving, kind of working out kinks here and there. But I think that is just a lifetime issue.
You're right about that.
There's always going to be new problems that I have to kind of finagle around.
Yes.
But I feel really good about it. Now that I've been doing it for a while, my brain feels more empty and clear. I feel more focused. I'm definitely not as stressed as I was. My perfectionism creeps in sometimes, but I notice it a lot more quickly. And so I can fight back with that. And you do things to purposely like tick off my perfectionism, like, go away. I'm leaving this dirty shirt on the floor and you're going to deal with it. You know, but it has been a really, really liberating process because I'm like, okay, now I get it. I was working hard before, but I was not working effectively. Mm-hmm. And now I'm working effectively, and that means I don't have to work as hard, which is really, really awesome.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that was so good.
I feel like maybe I spend more minutes on individual days than what I used to, but that's because I'm accomplishing so much more. And really, if I waited out to like my binge sessions of the past to what I'm doing now, I'm sure I'm doing less. But it's on my mind a lot more, and I'm staying with it and paying attention to it so much more frequently that it feels like I'm doing more. But I feel like that is probably completely incorrect. Because if I just binge cleaned the house for 8 hours, I'm certainly not getting anywhere near that. And what I'm doing now I'm doing these little tiny chunks of time, and my house is 1,000 times cleaner. Even though I did these, maybe it was more clean for a half a day, and then my children were allowed to come back and it was all gone. But this is a more sustainable clean. It's easier to tidy, easier to clean, just all around better. And there was a second part to your question. I don't remember what it was. I kind of got off track.
So before I ask you, I just wanted to make a comment when you were saying like it's more, but like I think it's less. I remember I have a video where I said this same exact thing. Like it feels like more and less at the same time. It feels like more because of the consistency piece. Like you're doing a little bit every day, or that's how I feel. But it also feels like less because in terms of effort, it's like for me, it's less strenuous. So I understand what you mean by that blend of more and less at the same time, because it really does feel like that.
Yeah. Well, like I can't tell you the last time that I washed a window before doing this. So I feel like I have washed so many windows. But like it's so weird because even before I moved to this house, I don't remember when I washed a window at the old house. And now, when I do that during the week, I'm probably only cleaning maybe 4 or 5 windows. It's not very many that I can get to in my little time frame. But now I know I go to the one window that my children like to like.
I got that window too.
They're like right up on it and sliming it. And that happens, about 2 minutes after I clean it. But so I go to that window first and I clean that off again. And then I go to windows that they can't do that to, but that I can still reach relatively well. And like, I'm cleaning windows that I never would have thought about doing, and I'm dusting and vacuuming and doing all of those things. But, like that's the one that really sticks out to me is those vertical cleaning surfaces and those windows. And I'm like, I never did that. So that's why it feels like more because I'm doing things that I would avoid like the plague.
Yeah.
And probably would have hired someone to come and do for me. About every 5 years, they would come and clean my windows because that's how cheap I am. But now I'm doing them myself. I haven't got to the outside yet, but I'm like, I actually could get some of my outside windows as well. And I've been, as I drive in and out of the house, I look at the windows and I'm like, I can reach some of those, and I can get most of the windows in my house. And I'm like, oh boy, like that kind of thinking is crazy to me because I have never.
I understand. Like, how does it make you feel though? Like, the fact that even it's just like the little things, right? Like that you weren't doing before, and now that you're doing it. For me, it just makes me feel like more on top of it. To see my windows streak free and to see, things polished and to see things dust. I'm like, me?
I know.
It's little things.
it's so foreign to me, and it seems so silly. And the fact that I'm thinking about it while I'm driving in and out of the house, and thinking about washing my windows. I mean, it just doesn't even make sense in my brain that this is like even possible.
Yeah.
But, I'm already making plans of like, oh, as the weather gets a little warmer, I can have the kids out there. I can hit a couple of those, then we can play. And I'm making these crazy plans around a home task that I never would have ever considered touching,
That
because
before, like,
I
you feel
was
like you didn't have time
drowning
for it.
in laundry and dishes and toys.
Yeah, I understand.
And now I'm like, oh, I don't worry about the laundry and the dishes. And even the toys are getting so much easier to handle as I zone clean. Even those are starting to kind of disappear. Don't tell anybody.
Ninja style.
Yeah. So I mean, even that is not the stress point that it was before. So I have the capacity to think about windows.
Yeah. It's the little things. It's the little things like that really show the growth. So that's so awesome. Okay, so the second part of that question was, I know you mentioned trying like different systems before. So I just want to know, in terms of your strategy, like what do you think made the difference in terms of like the peace of mind that you feel now?
The difference really came from solid accountability for 8 weeks. That made all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Because I was doing it before, sort of,
Yeah.
On the days I felt motivated, I would do it. And on the days where I felt a little guilty because I hadn't done it the day before, or I'd only halfway done it the day before, it was, it was the accountability and feeling like the ladies wanted me to succeed. You wanted me to succeed. And that I was really a part of this group, and not like I did the Fly Lady like Facebook page and posted a few times, and you're one of like 100,000 people or something, probably a lot more than that. I don't know, but nobody's really paying attention. You'll get some positive comments or a little cheer here and there, but it's not this.
Yeah.
It's not getting to know another human being on a real level and understanding what their struggle is and how they've gotten around it and how they want to help you, you want to help them. That's different.
Yeah.
That's what worked. And you did that. So thanks.
Yay. Letitia, you did it as well. It's definitely a reflection of your consistency and just your willingness to show up, that I think that you're having the results that you have. Like, you definitely came in and you were very committed to completing the program and, just showing up. So kudos to you on that. Like, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that, we were able to work together to have like a container, if you will, where you felt like supported and uplifted and like you could answer your questions. And so that just makes me so happy. Okay. Do you feel like now, like that you're on the other side, like that these things are like starting to become habits, or like, how do you feel about that? Just throwing this extra question.
They are definitely becoming habits. Let's see, I make my bed, do the dishes, do the laundry, do the hot spots. That is all absolutely ingrained. I don't really pay much attention to that anymore, because I'm more shocked when it's not done. Like, I walk into my bedroom on the days that my husband has been able to sleep in, and because I wasn't there whenever all the bodies were out of the bed didn't get made. Sometimes he does. I will give him credit for that. Sometimes he does. But when I walk in there, I'm shocked. I'm like, wait, how is that not? I thought I did that. Because it all seems so automatic now. And the dishes and the hot spots. I mean, like that changed my house.
It's crazy.
I mean, like, how is that not taught in school?
Okay.
It's
powerful.
I mean, it's crazy.
I wasn't expecting for it to have impact on my house either. That impact.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah. I had so much success just figuring out what a hotspot was and how to handle it. And that made the biggest difference. And, now I am kind of surprised when they're dirty because even my family has gotten more used to avoiding those spots. And now, because, mine were very much clustered around the front door, if you make it past the hot spots with that stuff in your hands, it tends to go where it's supposed to. I mean,
love that.
It's shocking, but it does. Even for the little kids, it's more likely to get where it's supposed to go if you get them past those points. So it is, it's awesome. We have a couple of people saying hello to us. Silly Mommy for Life and Sharina.
Hey, Sharina.
Hi.
Hey, Silly Mommy for Life. Y'all know I'm so bad at comments and talking at the same time. I'm not ignoring you guys. And if you guys have questions for us, definitely feel free to leave them in the comments. I have a few questions for Letitia, but we'll take a moment to address any questions. If you guys have any questions about what it's like being in the Peaceful Homekeeping Challenge or being in the group, then Letitia is your person. Okay, she can give y'all that insider scoop. Sometimes I know y'all hear me talk about it all the time, but I think it's so cool for you guys to get.
I'll tell you the lowdown.
Yeah, she'll give you all the lowdown, the details. All right, so the next question is, I think some people may hesitate to join something called the Peaceful Homekeeping Challenge because they might feel like they're just going to be adding onto their shoulders and like, can I really commit to this? Like, is it going to be like difficult? Right now my life is feeling, a little crazy. It always feels crazy, but I don't know if I can be consistent for 8 weeks. What would you say to someone who wonders if this is like something difficult to commit to?
So if you can't commit to 8 weeks, can you commit to 7? Because, you can have a day or two in there that you fail.
Great.
Because you're not really failing as long as you keep going. So, I kind of think about it as that like 80-20 or probably, okay, let me be more 70-30.
Okay. There we go.
Seems a little more realistic in my life. If I'm showing up and given what I can for some, larger percentage, then I am still having success.
Absolutely.
And if I have a day where I complete less of my plan, then that's okay because tomorrow's another day. And it really is so much better than what I was doing before that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Exactly. Even if you can't be, you don't have to be perfect. This is not like you call it peaceful for a reason because it's not perfect. If you had your name as Perfect Homekeeping Challenge, I would not have done it because I'd have been like, yeah, that isn't going to happen. But peaceful is the part that really drew me in, because I wanted it to be as stress-free as possible. And I knew it wasn't going to be perfect. And I knew that committing 8 weeks was going to be a challenge. And I knew that taking it beyond that 8 weeks, whenever I wasn't being called out with those cute little posts, directly, I knew that that was going to be hard because I'm building these habits. And but it doesn't have to be perfect. I can adjust for a tough day. Kids get sick, I get sick, I can adjust. I strip away all the top layers of the pyramid, and I go back to the basics, and I try to at least touch on each of them each day. And then when things settle down again, then I step back in. And for the person who's worried about, like, can I fit all this in? Honestly, I feel like I fit in more now because I'm so much more organized. I'm writing out a plan every week, and that's new for me. I never wrote anything down other than a giant long to-do list that made me real angry and stressed, and it never got completed. I never wrote anything down like that. Now I'm mapping out my days. I write down every part of my plan, including meal planning. Like, I never did that either. I didn't think about dinner until about 5 o'clock. And so I had to buy an Instapot because I could do frozen meat in the Instapot. And because I didn't think about dinner until then, it was always still frozen. So, like, that's how I lived. And now I'm thinking about not only when I'm going to mop, but also when I'm going to go to the mailbox or, the post office, and what I'm going to make for each day of the week. And, when I'm going to make the appointments and all of that, it's all scheduled out and planned. So instead of having more to do, I'm actually doing more with the time that I have. And it makes me wonder how I ever got anything done before. Because I was so scatterbrained. And I never planned anything. I just would do whatever hit me and felt the most urgent. And that was how I lived. And now I'm actively planning as much as I can. And that even includes work. Work has now become its own page. And I am trying to kind of figure out how to do a workflow sort of plan. And thinking about it in terms of having planning days and having desk days and days where I'm actually at the office or I have to leave my home. Having that mapped out makes it to where those days are more productive. When I do have to leave and go to the office, I try to put stuff in the car the day before. And then I'm less likely to leave it and not have it when I go to the office. I'm getting better at that. It's still a work in progress. I'm going to keep tweaking it. But it is so helpful. And, when I started this, it was not with the intention of making work easier. It was other than maybe giving myself more time to complete it, because I wasn't, so distracted by the dirt and mess and piles. But it's given me so much more than I expected. I just wanted a less cluttered house and something that I could vacuum without sucking up every sock in the house. And I've gotten a lot more. So I'm thrilled.
Yay! Letitia, I think you answered all of the questions that I have for you today. You did wonderful, like, with this interview. And also, I'm just so proud of everything that you've accomplished through Peaceful Homekeeping. And just because I haven't told you, thank you so much for like trusting me and, jumping in the program and being such an awesome participant, because I do believe like it's the people who join who also contribute to making the program what it is. And I'm just so happy like to just hear like how you're feeling and to know about your progress, and you're just doing awesome. So yay.
Oh, thank you. Well, I am thrilled that I did it. So I would suggest it to anybody. But it has been well worth it.
Yay. So I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. I don't see that we have any questions. So if you guys are watching the playback, then definitely feel free to leave comments down in the comments below. And just so you guys know, we have 2 more days for the Peaceful Homekeeping Challenge enrollment window to be open for those who are ready to get their spring cleaning on, but do it in a way that's sustainable and that's not going to stress you out. The doors will be closing for that on Friday. And if you are interested, I'll leave some information down below, but it's lovealwaysladayblog.com. And there you can see information about the program. You can read more testimonials if you're kind of unsure, just to hear what other people are thinking about it. And as always, if you have questions for me or concerns, then definitely feel free to email me at lovealwaysladday@yahoo.com. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope that I will get to meet and work with some of you guys really soon. So, all right.
Thanks.